guys, welcome back to Hacking Videos. It's been a while, you had a little bit of a break. Now we're going to be starting Chapter 7, which is all about polynomials. So we're going to start our videos again. So a polynomial is just a monomial, or a sum of monomials, or difference of monomials. So a monomial is just one term. So a polynomial has one or many terms. So one example would be 3x squared. That's a monomial. But it's also a polynomial because it could be just one monomial. Or it could be more than one term together. Let's say I have 4x to the 8th plus 7x squared minus 5. This is a polynomial. Here I have three terms. This term, and that term. The degree of a polynomial is determined by the highest power on the variable. So, for example, this polynomial has a degree of 8, because the highest power we have is 8. This polynomial has a degree of 2, because its highest power is 2. Let's say I have 17 plus 58x minus 9x to the third. This degree is 3. It's the power that's important, not the coefficients, not the numbers in front. So it only refers to the power. A polynomial is written in standard form when it is in descending order, meaning that the powers start high and then they go down. So an example of something written in standard form would be 3x to the 5th minus 8x squared plus 1. The highest power is first, the next highest power is second, and so on. A non-example would be, let's say I wrote it in a different order. 1 plus 3x to the 5th minus 8x squared. This is not in standard form because this guy is not first. So you have to write the biggest guy first and then go down. Now you determine which guy is the biggest guy by the power, not by the coefficient. So this 3x to the 5th is first because the 5 is biggest. It doesn't have anything to do with the 3 or the 8. So there are two different ways to classify polynomials. One by the number of terms, and two by the degree. So if there's only one term, that's called a monomial. Like a monorail. Mono means one. 2 terms is a binomial. Like a bicycle, 2 wheels. 3 terms is a trinomial. And if it has more than 3 terms, we just give it a general word of polynomial. Now let's talk about the degree. If it has a 0 degree, that means that there's no variable at all. So our term is just a constant, meaning that there's no variable in there. If it's a first degree, we've dealt with lots of first degree equations so far this year. A first degree means that the highest power is 1. So that would be something that's linear. An example of that would be like 3x minus 7. The highest power is 1. And if you graphed it, it would look like a line. A second degree, we've just dealt with a whole chapter dealing with second degree functions. A second degree is a quadratic. So we just finished, I can't spell. Quadratic. So we just dealt with our whole unit on quadratic equations. When you graph them, they look like a parabola. There's something with an x squared in there. Now a third degree is called a cubic. So cubic because something cubed is third degree power. So an example of that would be, 4x to the third plus x squared minus 1. An example. A fourth degree is called a quartic. I know that seems weird because both these are quartic. Both these have a quad word in it, but that's the way it is. And then the fifth degree is a quintic. Meaning that it's something to the 5th power. So now let's just try to classify each of these examples by both the number of terms and the degree. So here, the number of terms here is 2. So this is some sort of binomial. Because the highest power is 4, it's a quartic. Quartic binomial. Now here, there's only one term, and there's no variable, meaning that the highest power is 0. because 9 is really the same thing as 9x to the 0. So this is just a constant, one term, so monomial. All right, let's do our joke of the day before we get on any further. So give me a second while my phone loads. All right, so what do you call two spiders who just got married? And it's newlyweds. Okay, so then here our highest degree is 2, so this is a quadratic. See what our whole last chapter was on. And there are 3 terms, so it's a quadratic trinomial. Here, our highest degree is 3, so it's a cubic. And it has more than 3 terms, so we just call it a polynomial, cubic polynomial. So now let's just talk about how to simplify when we're adding and subtracting polynomials. This is really easy. I think that you guys will like this part of it. So the first step to do is distribute if there's something to distribute. Then 2 is just combine like terms, and 3 is write in standard form. So here, the first thing that we're going to do is distribute if necessary. There's no distributing for this first example, so we can move right on to step 2. Step 2 says combine like terms. So if we combine like terms, let's look at this. 2 can be combined with this negative 8, so I have negative 6. This negative 8x and this negative 3x can combine to be negative 11x. So if we want to combine them, we can make this negative 11x minus 6. Now we're just rewriting, the last step was just rewriting it from this to here to make it go into standard form, meaning that the terms are in descending order. So now in this second example, distributing is required because this negative is on the outside of this parenthesis. So we're first going to distribute. If you can do this stuff in your head and you don't need to write out every little step, more power to you, that's totally fine. I'm just trying to write it every step so that no one's confused. So now we have to combine like terms. So this 4n cubed and this minus n cubed can be combined into 3n cubed. So I have 4n cubes, I take one of them away, I'm left with 3n cubes. And now let's combine those two terms to give us negative 9n. Here I'm already in standard form, my highest power first, so that's the answer. Now let's try this one. So let's take, there's no distributing necessary because there's no parentheses. Let's take our first, our highest degree term and put it in the front so that we don't have to do this extra step like we did here. So this is the highest term. It has nothing to be combined with it, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Now the next highest term is the 5p. It has nothing to be combined with, so I'm also going to rewrite it. Now I'm just going to combine these two. 4 minus 7 is negative 3, and that is our answer. I've written it in standard form and simplified it. So now here I know it appears as if there may be some distributing necessary, but because it's a plus, if I distribute a plus through, it's not going to change anything. So these parentheses here are totally unnecessary. A lot of times problems in your book and problems on the worksheets that you'll see will have these parentheses here, but if there's a plus, don't get freaked out. The parentheses don't have to be there at all. They're not serving any purpose. So now let's just look for the highest degree term. The highest degree term is here, so we're going to put that guy first. Our next highest degree term is here. Nothing to be combined with either of them. And then here I have left these two. They can be combined to be plus 13. Now let's just check to make sure I'm in standard form. Highest power first, next power, and so on. So I'm in standard form. And that's it. So don't forget to answer the questions. I know it's been a while.